Okay. From spring onwards, you tend to get a little bit less rain, and obviously water in the soil is really important for your crops. And so to stop having to water an awful lot with hose pipes and watering cans, it's a really good idea to try and conserve what moisture you've got in the soil. And one thing you can do is use mulches. And mulches are basically just a layer of material that you put over the soil. It's used for two purposes really. One, to keep weeds down, but also to conserve the moisture in the soil. You can get artificial mulches, which behind me is a material, this black material, sort of Mypex, that you can use on the ground. It's often used as weed suppressant, but it will actually also help keep a little bit of moisture in the soil. And you can actually lay that over the surface, cut through it, and then plant through it. Similar material is here. It's a much softer material, a landscape fabric. The good thing about these artificial fabrics is they are porous, so they do let the moisture, so if it does rain, it will let the moisture through as well to the soil, and keep the light out, so it stops the weed growth too. But I think one of the nice things about mulches is you can use much more natural materials. A good one is actual grass clippings. Often we cut the lawn, you think, what on earth do we do with all this grass clippings? And actually, if you put it on a compost heap and if you put too much of it on at once, it just goes into a horrible soggy mess. But actually, you can use it around the crops. It's a good way of using this waste material. Here we've got some sweet corn, and grass has literally been sprinkled around, reasonably thick. It's probably about an inch thick. Any thicker than that and it can get to a bit of a slimy mess, so you want to sort of about an inch thick, and it will just basically around the plants like this, and it will just keep the moisture in. If I actually pull back the mulch and the earth, it's actually quite damp underneath. What you can do is, if you've got an area, you can actually sprinkle the grass clippings over, and just on a nice fine day, and just let it dry a little bit before you then apply it to the soil. The other thing you can also use is cardboard. Instead of sending it to the recycling, use it on your crops, between your crops. You literally lay it down, but you'll need to secure the ends either with some bricks, some stones, or even things like tent pegs. They're quite useful to just insert into the corners to hold it down. That will again keep a lot of moisture underneath. Another thing you can apply is garden compost. This is really good stuff, and the good thing about these natural mulches, things like the grass clippings are high in nitrogen, and obviously if you're using garden compost, that's got lots of nutrients in it as well, so it's providing nutrients to the soil as well as conserving the moisture. And actually another thing you could actually use, if you've got some rhubarb, just cut some of the leaves off and literally place around the crops. And even that will keep some of the moisture in the ground. Water will, if you have any rain, it'll just run off and run to the crops. So they're really good and they're really useful too. So definitely worth using natural mulches to provide a little bit of nutrition and to keep the moisture in the soil. So there's lots of materials you can use.